The quotient of a polynomial and a monomial. To divide a polynomial by a monomial, divide each term of the polynomial by a monomial. Like for example, a plus b over c, we equate that a over c plus bc, where c is not equal to 0. The parts of a division problem are named in the diagram, which is 12x squared plus 6x, where 12x squared plus 6x is the dividend, and 6x is our divisor, and 2x positive 1 is the quotient. And we have 5m to the 5th negative 10m cubed by 5m squared. Use the rule above with positive replaced by negative. Then use the quotient rule for exponents. So 5m to the 5th negative 10m cubed over 5m squared. We can divide each term by a monomial, which is 5m squared. So 5 divided 5 becomes 1. So m, remember the rule above, which is replaced by the use of quotient rule for exponent. So 5 minus 2 becomes 3, so m cubed. And 10 divided 5 becomes 2, and m to the third minus 2 becomes m. So the answer is m cubed negative 2m. And then we recall from arithmetic that division problems can be checked by multiplication. Then to check the polynomial quotients, multiply m cubed negative 2m by 5m squared. So 2m times 5m squared becomes 10m cubed. Negative times positive becomes negative. 5m squared times m cubed becomes 5m to the 5th. Let's see. That is, the quotient is correct. Because since division by 0 is undefined, the quotient of 5m squared negative 10m cubed over 5m squared is undefined. Then we have another example, 8x squared y cubed negative 10x cubed y over 2x squared y. Then we equate each term by 8x squared y cubed over 2x squared y minus 10x cubed y over 2x squared y. Then 8 divided by 2 becomes 4. Cancel out x squared over x squared becomes 1. Then y cubed divided 1 becomes y squared. 3 minus 1 becomes 2. And then negative 10 divided 2 becomes 5. X cubed divide x squared. Remember the rule of exponent, we subtract 3. And 2 becomes 1. So the answer is for y squared negative 5x. Another example, 3u cubed v to the 4th negative 2 u to the 5th b squared positive the quantity of u squared b squared raised to the power of 2 over u cubed b squared. Then we equate each term, and then 3u cubed b to the 4th over u cubed b squared minus 2u to the fifth b squared u cubed b squared plus the quantity of u squared b squared raised to the power of 2 over u cubed b squared. And then let's do the division process. 3 divided by 1 becomes 3. Cancel out b cubed over b cubed becomes 1 to b fourth. Divide b squared. Remember the rule of exponent. We subtract 4 minus 2 becomes b squared. Then negative 2 divided 1 becomes 2. Then u to the fifth. Divide u cubed. We subtract the exponent, which is 5 minus 3 becomes 2. Then cancel out. We copy first the u squared, b squared, which is bu to the fourth, then b squared raised to the power of 2 becomes b4, then u over u cubed b squared. Then the answer is 3b squared negative 2u squared plus u to the fourth divide u cubed. Remember the rule of exponent. We subtract 4 minus 3 becomes 1, so it's u. B to the fourth divide b squared becomes b squared. This is the answer. In dividing two polynomials, we can say that it is arranged in descending powers. Like for example, divide 2x positive 3 into 8x cubed negative 4x squared negative 14x positive 15, where 2x positive 3 into 8x cubed negative 4x negative 14x positive 15. Since it is two terms, we can count 1, 2, and the quotient is the center of the second term. So 8x cubed divided by 2x is 4. Then x cubed divide x becomes x squared. And then we multiply first. So 4x squared times 2x becomes 8x cubed. Then 4 times 3 becomes positive 12x squared. And then subtract. Remember the rules on subtractions. We can see that we can change all the sign in the second row of polynomials into the opposite sign. So cancel out 8x cubed. Then since negative plus negative becomes negative, so 12 plus 4 becomes 16 x squared. Then negative 4, bring down negative 14x. Then negative 16 divided by 2 becomes negative 8. Then x squared divided by x becomes x. Then let's do multiplication. Negative 8 times 2 becomes negative 16. X times x becomes x squared. Then negative 8x times 3 becomes negative 24x equals. Then subtract. Remember the rules of subtractions. We can change all the sign into the opposite to opposite, which in the second row. Then cancel out this one. Since positive is the larger value, we can use positive. Then subtract 24 by 14. The answer is 10x. Then bring down 15. Then 10x positive 15 divided by 2 becomes 5. Since x is only 1, so we can put only 5, which is constant. So we can do multiplication process. 5 times 2x becomes 10x. 5 times 3 becomes 15. Then subtract. Change all the sign in the second row of polynomials. Then cancel out, and answer is 0. Recall the division of whole numbers. We multiply each quotient into the divisor, which is to check 4x squared negative 8x positive 5 times 2x positive 3 equals 5 times 3 becomes 15. Negative 8 times 3 becomes negative 24x. Then 3 times 4x squared becomes 12x squared. Then 2x times 5 becomes 10x. 2x times negative 8 becomes negative 16x squared. Then 2 times 4x squared becomes 8x cubed over then 15. Since negative 24 is the larger value, we can use negative and subtract 24 by 10. The answer is 14x. And then the larger value is 16, which is negative. So negative subtract 16 by 12. The answer is 4x squared. Then copy the 8x cubed. And 4x squared negative 8x positive 5 becomes, it is the correct quotient. Then how if dividing a polynomial with missing terms? We can say that our polynomials is arranged into descending powers before the beginning of the division process. So x cubed positive 2x negative 3, where x cubed is the first term and the missing is x squared. Then 2x, then negative 3 by x negative 1. So x squared is our missing number. And in doing this, we can put that x negative 1, then x cubed, we can put the missing number, which is 0x squared, plus 2x negative 3. Then since it is we have two terms, so we can count 1, 2, and our quotient is at the center of the second terms. So x cubed divided by x becomes x squared. Then x squared times x becomes x cubed. Then x squared negative 1 becomes negative x squared. Then remember the subtraction rules. We change into opposite sign of the second row of polynomials. They cancel out x cubed. Then positive 0x squared plus x squared becomes x squared. Bring down 2x. Then x cubed divided by x becomes positive x. Then x times x becomes x squared. Then x times negative 1 becomes negative x. Then subtract. Change all the sign in the second row polynomials. which is positive, then cancel out x squared, then 2x, since it is this like sign, we can add 2 plus 1 becomes 3, and copy the variables x, bring down -3, so 3x divided by x becomes positive 3, then 3 times x becomes 3x, then 3 times -1 becomes -3. 3 times -1 becomes -3. And then subtract. Remember the subtractions. We can change all the polynomials, all the signs in the second row of polynomials. Positive becomes negative, and negative becomes positive. Since it is subtraction, so we can cancel out this, becomes 0, and the answer is 0. Then let's check if the answer is correct. We recall our division process to check which multiply the quotient and the divisor. So x squared, positive x, positive 3 times x, -1. So -1 times 3 becomes -3. -1 times positive x becomes -x. -1 times x squared becomes -x squared. Then x times 3 becomes positive 3x. Then x times x becomes positive x squared. X times x squared becomes x cubed. Remember to align the like terms, so -3. Then since it is unlike sign, so 3 minus 1 becomes 2x. Then cancel out this one, then x cubed. So our quotient x squared, positive x plus 3 is correct. Since hope that you like it. Please, if you like, you can subscribe me.